everybody, and welcome back to the Department Podcast, the Wrestling Recap version of the Department Podcast. I'm Stephen Clark, joined by Jesse Norman and Justin Valentovic. Fellas, before we get into the big, wide world of wrestling, how are you doing right now?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
It's nice out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm chilling. Slight headache, but,
Okay.
Never better.
There was going to be a hurricane, but there's not.
Thank God I can't deal with another fucking power outage.
No more power outages. We don't need that. We don't need you complaining to all these companies and all that.
Screaming at PSE&G.
Yeah, no, we don't need that. All right, good. I'm glad you guys are doing well today. That's good. Speaking of hurricanes and all that stuff, we have now spent 1 week in the Thunderdome. And wow, I really, really like the Thunderdome, but there has been a lot of inappropriate and uncalled for things that were displayed during the Thunderdome that some of these incompetent idiot fans have put on their computer. For example, there was a member of like a KKK organization. There was Chris Benoit, who is famously known for murdering his wife and his son. There was some intercourse going on in one thing.
Was there really?
Yes.
Didn't see that one.
Yes, there was. And it just continues. There was also the Fire Velveteen Dream thing, which is not bad, but it was there. So that's why I wanted to start this podcast. What can they do to limit this stuff? Should they have like a filter or something, or hire somebody to like just pick these people out before? Or
I mean, they're not going to get rid of it because their big thing at the Thunderdome was getting fans and back involved, so that won't go away, like the LED boards and whatnot.
Yeah.
Maybe, put a delay, like an input delay before they go live on the board, or just get dedicated ways of, looking at screens to maybe rip it out and block them before they go to the hard camera.
Yeah.
And maybe, if they, I don't know how they're working it, but say they have a switcher that rotates, your camera from like being way up in the rafters onto the hard cam.
Yeah.
Just maybe look at all of the things before taking them and moving them to being visible on television.
Yeah.
Maybe just add more safeguards.
Yeah, the only thing with the delay is that it kind of ruins the product in a way. Because,
yeah, I guess that's why they just have to just monitor it
very closely. And
lot more.
That's what, if you get literally a group of hire 4 or 5 people and just have them monitor all the people, it would be fine. It's not. That's not going to break your bankroll. Bringing in 4 tech people, bringing in 4 tech people to monitor your Thunderdome.
Well, especially since they laid off half the company back in March. So
they laid off the company.
So that they could file that $17 million lawsuit to continue taping.
Basically,
that's why they laid off 1.5 million or whatever.
Just everybody.
God, crazy.
They just got to monitor it better. Stupid people will do stupid things. There's no way of stopping it that way. But it's just funny how, you look at the NBA and there just never has been an issue that people have noticed with it, at least.
Because the NBA has classier fans.
Yeah. That's 100% true. Wrestling fans are the worst.
Wrestling fans are indeed the worst.
They're the absolute worst. But
if WWE wants to stop it, they just got to work harder on their own and hope. And they can't be like, well, they'll police themselves and they won't do it. That's not going to happen.
And if someone does get caught doing that, just ban them for life from the Thunderdome. Just plain and simple. Just don't let them back in as a punishment. But people on the flip side of that was like, oh, it's worth it to get my 15 seconds of fame for putting something inappropriate in the Thunderdome. But
then you just look like a jackass.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
But that's why streakers do that during sports games too, just to get a little notoriety and to get, oh, look at this guy, haha. But whatever. I just wanted to bring that up. But on the flip side, a positive thing with Thunderdome is I made it into Thunderdome, and I just wanted to quickly share my experiences through that. It's not too long, but
I'll add a picture somewhere.
Okay, yeah, you can put the picture right here.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay. So that's me in the Thunderdome. I did not see myself the whole time. I was in there for about an hour and a half, and it got in right away though, but I couldn't see myself on TV until that moment right there. But overall, it was run very well. It's like being at a regular show. When you're at a regular TV show, there aren't commercials, but the commercials they play on the Titantron are for the company and all that. So that's what they do during the commercials. But there is a producer in your ear that is all right, we're coming back to the USA Network. Let us know how you feel about Randy Orton. And then, like, 2 seconds later, all right, make sure you boo Randy Orton. Like, he's trying to influence your decision, but not 100% of the way, which I'm okay with. I'm fine with that because they want to get a point across that Orton's the bad guy, but they also want you to show how you feel. So, overall, it was a positive experience. And
So, here's my question then. So, were you getting the USA feed or, like, their actual camera feed when you were in there?
It was... It was like the regular watching it on television.
Okay.
It wasn't just hard cam all the way. It was actually like, it didn't have the USA like branding logo at the bottom or any of that. It had like the Thunderdome logo, but it was literally like I'm watching it on television just on my laptop.
So were you getting the commercials when they went to commercial, or do you still see
no,
like the
I got like the company commercials, like commercials for the network and all that.
So
like when you're at a show.
Yeah, because they didn't want the free advertising.
Exactly.
Basically.
No, but then they have all this pre-recorded stuff. So I'm like, oh, it's Shelton Benjamin. Hope you're enjoying yourself. I can see you, but you can't see me. I'm like, you're not there. You recorded that like a month ago. Like,
yeah.
I fell for it the first time.
What else is Shelton doing?
Yeah, he's in the Hurt Business, baby.
Yeah, he's the third. He's the third most important person in the Hurt Business.
He's the only one with the title in the Hurt Business, I think.
Oh, true.
Yeah. But anyways, no, overall it was good. I fell for it the first time though. Like when the superstars came in, I was like, oh, I'm on the call with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott, and then like it kept happening. Like, oh, okay, I get it. You guys recorded this like a month ago. But overall, it was positive, and I would recommend anybody to do it just at least once, just to experience it at least, because it was fun overall. But back to outside the ring news. Rest in peace, Bullet Bob Armstrong. He is the father of Scott Armstrong and Road Dogg Jesse James, and he was basically like the Georgia territory wrestler. He didn't really wrestle too much in WWF/WWE, but hey, rest in peace, man. Sad to see him go. That's all I wanted to say about him. All right, let's finish out outside the ring news. There's just two things I want to touch on, both pertaining to AEW. The first one, do you guys want to see this? Shaquille O'Neal in an all-elite wrestling ring going one-on-one with Cody. Let me know.
No. I mean, like when we got Shaq at WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble, fine. But Shaq, he's got to be pushing 50, right? And, like, he's not athletic anymore. Like, how much could he honestly offer?
Yeah, I don't know. He would have to get himself in really good shape.
Yeah. I guess the TNT thing, like, they're all on the TNT network.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's cross promotion and stuff. But it's still...
AEW gets a lot of promotion when basketball, like the playoffs are on. Yeah, they get a lot. Especially
the Saturday they were on, too, like during the Heat Pacers game right before. Like, it was a lot. Like, every commercial break or every other commercial break, there would be a Dynamite commercial, which is good. They're getting their name out there. I can't blame them for that. But I don't want to see it either. I'm with you guys in this one. I just don't.
It just, what does it do for me? Like,
no.
How would they build it? How would they market it? Because, like, at least with, like, the Cole McAfee, you know, they started with a fight. Like, are they really going to have, like, them feud over, like, oh, AEW's getting bumped for NBA basketball? Like, would that be really the crux of the whole feud? Like, honestly?
No way.
You know,
that's
like,
a bad feud.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing to build off and nothing to build on and go off of for this to be a credible feud or even worthwhile.
If they want to put a celebrity in the mix, I'd say do Mike Tyson, honestly, because Tyson was already involved in TNT, in AEW a little bit, and it fits the mold having an actual like fighter.
Well, and Tyson's training for
an exhibition
fight.
So he's in shape.
He would be in shape.
So, but that's that. I don't want to see. Shaq wants the match. This wasn't Cody's idea. This is Shaq's idea.
If AEW and like Cody doesn't want it to happen, then it's not going to happen.
It doesn't work because in WWE they had the Big Show and Shaq. And it was kind of like who's the world's largest athlete kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cody's not 7 foot tall. The biggest guy in AEW, I think, is Luchasaurus.
That'd be kind of cool. Luchasaurus Shaq.
It would be cool, but it's not mainstream.
No, it's not mainstream.
Yeah, no one would care.
People would be like, what?
Yeah.
Shaq versus dinosaur.
Shaq versus dinosaur.
Yeah, no one would. Honest to God, no one would care about that.
Exactly. And lastly, outside the ring, this is sort of in the ring / outside the ring news because they did a little segment on Dynamite about this. But Jon Moxley was named number 1 on the PWI 500 list of wrestlers. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but I don't agree with this.
What has he done this year? That's the
thing. This year, he hasn't done anything.
Like
hold the title in a lackluster reign. I get he's the U.S. champ for IWGP, but he hasn't defended it.
Why are they releasing it now? Like, is this like the 2020 list or like?
It must be like the calendar year from this point. Like 2019.
But it's still just such a weird time to release it, like right before like quarter 4 of 2020.
Yeah, from this point last year till now, McIntyre's been undefeated basically.
But even Cole was better.
Cole too. Moxley's not even my top 1 in AEW, if we're being honest. I'd put Jericho's done some great stuff over the last calendar year. He was the champ. He's the one that made
he legitimized AEW at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Like Cody's been.
I would say Cody's had better matches than Moxley.
Yeah, I'd say Cody too. I'd put Jericho and Cody both above Moxley. Not discrediting Moxley.
I would probably.
But
what site was this?
Pac has had better matches too.
This is PWI.
Is that Meltzer's site?
That beats me. I don't know. I can look it up, but it probably.
No, he's Wrestling Observer.
He's Wrestling Observer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is Pro Wrestling Insider then, or Pro Wrestling Illustrated. My bad.
Whatever.
Yeah, but I know I was talking to Dante last night, and when he said when TNA and WWE were doing like the Monday Night Wars thing, AJ Styles won it that year, and he didn't deserve it apparently.
So it's almost like
how Dante is with AJ, but
so it's almost like they give like the little engine that could that's kind of going after WWE.
Basically,
they kind of curve it towards them a little bit,
which is.
Okay. They used to do that with like TNA guys and New Japan guys too.
Yeah.
Like they really like to give number 1s to not WWE.
It's almost like they use the fact that they're not mainstream as
which
like
is, it's
they use it as like
it's being cool. If you don't like mainstream stuff, you're cool. Come on.
No, but like that's the thing where it's like they're not giving them, since they don't have like the mainstream like viewership, they give them that as like a boost above anyone else in WWE then.
Yeah, it just makes no sense to do that. It doesn't. I get you want to rank him. I put Mox in the top 10. That's fine. No disrespect to Jon Moxley. But number 1.
You can't say he had a better year than Adam Cole.
Adam Cole.
I would you can't say Adam Cole is not number 1. Like
I'd argue Adam or Drew, because Drew had a hell of a year too.
Drew had a hell of a year, but I would say Adam had better matches.
Hell, Bray Wyatt, if we're being honest too.
Yeah.
He was the hottest thing going around this time. He had his debut a year ago, a couple days.
I mean, and as much as we gave Seth a lot of crap for the character, still had really good matches.
Yeah. He won the Universal title a year ago. He had the Hell in a Cell match, which was controversial with The Fiend. He had the Crown Jewel match. He turned heel, and he has his amazing
became the hottest
now.
thing in the company. Had a fantastic match with Drew.
Yeah, and had a good match with Dominic.
It's a little recency bias, but Orton has been on fire lately.
Orton's been on fire since like the Rumble.
2020, he's been on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like Justin said, since the Rumble with Edge coming back. Edge coming back like lit a fire under Orton.
Yeah.
To like really do like the best that he can.
Yeah.
So
like all those could be above Moxley.
Yeah.
All of them.
I agree. I think Moxley's top 10, top 8-ish.
Yeah.
But I think you have to put Jericho and Cody ahead of him in his own company.
Especially if they're doing like the last year from like August to August, because that's when like AEW Dynamite became a thing, and Jericho was their first champion, and obviously his reign is 10 times better than Moxley's reign is right now, because Moxley's not doing squat with the title, and Jericho did everything he possibly could with the title. But yeah.
I mean, there's some other AEW guys too that I think MJF has been fantastic. There's been a lot of guys that I don't know have been as good as Moxley, but Darby Allin in the matches that he's been in has been very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good amount of guys. There's guys on AEW that are good. I think Omega's been a little disappointing in AEW.
For sure, I agree with
I
that.
think Hangman Adam Page has been a little disappointing as well. But like I said earlier, I think Pac has had a really good, matches over the past year too.
That just kills him being overseas and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we don't think Moxley should be number one. But he still is a good wrestler and had a good year. But congrats to him anyways for getting the number one spot. All right, that's enough outside the ring. Let's jump into Monday Night Raw action right now. And it starts off, with your WWE champion coming out to the ring. And it looks like they're continuing this feud. I thought they'd have a title match at Payback, but they're not. But they're continuing the feud between Orton and McIntyre. Orton punted him backstage. Orton beat the hell out of McIntyre again.
It's almost like they're going to. It's almost like they're going to try to extend it with McIntyre having the head injury.
Yeah,
it looks like they're going to
try
to
push. So that he's not in Payback. Yeah,
and it looks like they're going to try to push it to September or October and probably stick them in the cell then.
Because Orton already has, another match set for Payback, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, it looks like they're trying to continue this. So I would not be surprised their next match if Orton wins the title. Would not be surprised.
Yeah. Especially since they're trying to sell it as like the punt is really, it's damaging. It's damaging Drew.
Yeah.
So they could say like if he loses, he's been weakened by the punt for like a month now with lingering effects at that point.
I have a theory as well that maybe the guy that's going to have that match with Orton at Payback gets pushed into the title match as well, and then we get a triple threat.
I'm with it. Let's get to that right now then, actually. We'll skip ahead in the show a little bit. The man Jesse is talking about that could be in that triple threat match and Hell in a Cell is Keith Lee. And we have a lot, and I mean a lot, to break down about Keith Lee coming to the main roster. You know how internet fans are. I agree with them sometimes, and I agree with them a lot of the times I don't agree with them, actually. But sometimes I do agree with them. And this was one of the times that I agreed with the internet fans. What was going on with his generic theme song and I get his attire, all right? I can get the attire. Vince McMahon probably did not want all of that.
You know why he gave them that attire.
Lovable, fluffy stuff going on.
Vince prefers chiseled bodies.
Exactly. I get this shirt, but he looked like he was wearing a skirt.
Yeah.
It literally looked like a tight shirt and a skirt.
You know what it looked like? Remember Sonya Deville's old attire where it was like the compression
the
shorts,
flap?
and then it had the flaps on the side?
Yes.
Like the gladiator flaps?
Kind of looked like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you want Keith Lee not to wear the tight biker shorts, put him in, like, long tights or something. Like,
or a singlet.
Or a singlet. Yeah, a singlet wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't mind a singlet, but the shirt I can deal with. I can deal with the tight shirt, but not the shorts. I don't like the shorts. Hopefully tomorrow or today when this is going up, we see a change in something in Keith Lee. But back to the theme song now.
Who cares? Like, it's music.
But it generic.
Kills it though.
If it was like better, if it wasn't as generic, I'd be okay with the music change. Whatever.
And here's the thing too: if they're so high on this guy and like what he can do, just pay the composer of whoever made the music the money he wants. You're gonna make more money back on money from using Keith Lee. Marketing Keith Lee anyway.
That's part of the worry. Is maybe they don't care. No, maybe they don't care that much about this guy. Maybe they pulled him up, and maybe he's a buffer for Drew and Orton.
Mm-hmm.
And, he falls by the wayside.
Because it already sounded like when Drew was getting hauled off in the ambulance and they went to him, he's like, he's my, the toughest person I know, blah, 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 blah. It almost seems like they're putting him in the role of, he's the best friend that'll defend him no matter what type of thing.
And then maybe eventually turn on him.
I think they're saying like Lee's like, hey, like we're friends, but I want the title and everything.
Yeah.
So I think they're already planting that.
But we can't complain with that though, because he's getting a marquee matchup in his first pay-per-view as part of the main roster. Having a match with Orton is big for any level of superstar, especially when you're just getting officially called up to Monday Night Raw. So that's cool. I'm glad they're running that back because it ended in a no contest on Monday Night Raw. So that's cool. He gets a really big match for that. So I like that. Rewinding the show a little bit, we're going to go to the Kevin Owens show, and he had his special guest, Aleister Black, who came out with like a little eye patch on because, the whole thing with Seth's obsession with eyes and all that. But we saw a different Aleister. We saw a different Aleister on Monday Night Raw. We saw a vicious Aleister who turned on Kevin Owens, and it looks like heel Aleister is here to stay, and Aleister's back on television in general, so I really like this.
I hope so, because he needed the character swap from being, the morale police and just being Rey Mysterio's essentially a bodyguard just for the hell of being a bodyguard with no motivation.
Yeah.
He needed this.
It was nice.
To put him, if they do run a little program with, Owens just to start and get him over, that's a very good person to work with.
Yeah, it's a good person to go over on. Just literally a former champion and Owens just to beat him at Payback. I wish they have a match at Payback as well. Payback is a really good card for doing this in a week, for getting a whole pay-per-view match card together in 1 week. We're going to predict it later in the show, so stay tuned to that. But it's a really, really good match card, and I really like it.
Yeah, for essentially with the SummerSlam after shows basically being go-home shows for it, they've really done a nice job booking. Payback, still don't know why it's the week after, but whatever.
They're getting payback.
Yeah.
Getting payback.
Getting payback.
Yeah, I mean, they finally gave Aleister sort of a character. Maybe. Aleister is my favorite wrestler, I think, on the main roster, and I don't hold out hope anymore. If this goes somewhere, cool. If not, it's kind of where I expect it to go.
No, I'm with you on that.
He could beat Owens and then literally the next week have an entirely different character because they do not know what they are doing with him.
They don't know.
They
what
just
to
have
do with
him
a lot of
win.
people.
They just have him win a bunch of matches, and that's great. Like, cool. He rarely loses, but also he doesn't go for any championships. He doesn't act like he wants belts. He doesn't act like he wants anything.
No.
He doesn't. He literally has no character. Like, it's a character switch because he finally, maybe is heel, but
he's like the anti-hero.
He didn't have anything before.
His character before he got called up was like the anti-hero always.
But people just loved him.
Yeah, because he had a cool theme song and he was awesome in the ring. That's why.
And he had a great entrance. And
the entrance too, obviously. Yeah, but I hope this goes somewhere. Like, it's hard to put him in a title. I'd say U.S. champ at this point because you're not putting him in the main roster title right now. You're not putting him in the WWE title picture. That's kind of full right now. But eventually down the line,
before Orton was doing, his best work, we were talking about putting Aleister in there.
Yeah. Because
there was nobody else. And then now they've pulled up Keith Lee. And
Keith Lee just jumped over Aleister basically by having a match with Orton.
So Keith Lee, Orton, and Drew is your main title picture right now.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the mid card, Aleister and Seth would kind of have to be next. But Aleister's never even tried for the U.S. Championship.
No.
Why would you not give him? If the U.S. Championship is literally doing nothing, like it's on the Apollo Crews Hurt Business thing right now.
Yeah.
Aleister Black could do a lot better with that belt. If you just give it to him and just have him do open challenges, and it would be better.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Aleister needs something. Otherwise, people are going to get, like, bored. Not bored, but, like, just lose hope like you are.
He'll
get stale, exactly, yeah. Very stale.
It's nice to know Kevin Owens is back again, I guess, for a little bit.
I'm just like the way you feel about Aleister, the way I feel about Owens.
You feel about KO. It's demoralizing. It's like, wow, I really like this guy, but they've even kind of made me not care about my favorite wrestler.
Yeah,
and it's like, how does that?
Do you think either of them stay next time the contracts are up?
Probably, because they throw more money at them.
Yeah, because
better job security.
They both have a wife. Kevin has kids, and
so
he can pay the bills.
Vega works with Black. I mean, if both of them wanted to leave, but I mean, so far they haven't really done wrong by Vega.
No, I don't see them leaving. I really don't, unless you're like really getting like
Bored.
crapped on, like
Yeah.
Bo Dallas or something. Like,
Yeah. I especially don't see Owens leaving. Maybe Blackwood, but Owens definitely not. Because he's such a family guy, and WWE gives him by far the most money.
yeah,
And
for sure.
they've given him time off. Like, as bad as Owens' booking has been, and like how just like bad they've done him, they've still always like taken care of him
He still
outside
felt
of
like
the ring.
He's always felt like a top caliber star, even though he hasn't been like in the picture all the time.
They put him in matches with younger guys now to put them over and stuff. He's like an established veteran.
I thought you were going to say he's like Dolph Ziggler. All right, thank God.
Well, he is kind of. He's actually with Dolph pretty much gone.
But Owens is at least entertaining when Dolph gets in the picture, the title picture. I cringe. If Kevin Owens got a title hunt, I would be fine with it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to.
No, he's not going to. No, he's not because
they won't put him in the title picture until a babyface needs a guy to beat on a B show like Extreme Rules.
Exactly.
Fastlane, yeah.
You hate Fastlane.
That's when Owens will get his like one yearly title match.
Jesse doesn't think Fastlanes are good.
Fastlane's stupid.
He still owes us a pizza.
Remember when Roadblock were like a thing?
Roadblock and Fastlane, like they're stupid. They're just the pay-per-view before Mania when there's already Mania matches made. And it's like, oh, well, what if this person loses at Fastlane? They don't. They never do.
It's literally for the sake. It's literally for the sake of just getting an extra pay-per-view.
Of having that pay-per-view there because you can't go a month without having a pay-per-view.
No. Actually, on this schedule, they are. I'm looking at it right now.
God.
Because August 30th is Payback, and then September 27th is Clash of Champions. Then November 1st is Hell in a Cell. So right now, there's no October pay-per-view.
Yeah, but September and November 1st, that's like...
Yeah.
They're pretty much still there. And they also they're having Payback a week later.
Yeah.
We're basically getting 2 Augusts and then
no October.
1 September, no October, one right at the beginning of November.
And 2 November then probably because Survivor Series.
Well, we're for November we have Hell in a Cell, War Games, and Survivor Series. Yeah.
Yep. So we're getting
and then TLC is 2 days before Christmas this year.
Nice.
That's timing, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish up Monday Night Raw really quickly. Couple last things. Asuka retained her title against Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks got a rematch from Asuka from the night before, and Bayley tried to get involved to help Sasha win, get her out of the submission, but was ultimately dragged down by Shayna Baszler, who is challenging for the women's tag titles along with Nia Jax at Payback. But Sasha taps out. Asuka is still the champ, and there is tension brewing even more between the two. Oof. They're going to do it.
They're going to do it. They're doing it.
They're going to do it, which
they're doing it.
I don't like, but I get that it's needed. But
hold on to this longer until I know we did Mania 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But if you start the road to WrestleMania at Rumble, you can let this gimmick run for 3 more months.
Yeah.
This has time left on it.
And you can tell that they're starting to do this too because you're seeing a lot more women's tag teams starting to form. Like you're seeing this Nia Shayna team. You're seeing the Riot Squad back together. You're seeing Natalya and Lana be a team. You're seeing all these teams starting to form because you know you have to replace Bayley and Sasha in some way. And 3 teams just about maybe equals Bayley and Sasha because of how good they are. But it's not going to be the same.
When Bayley and Sasha have been great with the tag titles, but also they haven't defended them really for the most part. That's also because there is nobody to defend them against.
Point exactly.
But I think once they lose the titles, there's going to be even less of a focus on those titles, and it's going to be Shayna and Nia are going to take it off of them, and they're not even a tag team. Like,
if anything, it should be like Shayna. I hate to say this, but it should be like Shayna and one of the other 4 horsewomen.
Or it could be the Iconics, who are a real tag team.
Iconics.
If you're telling the story of Bayley and Sasha not working together, why do you put them in a title match against another team that's not working
that makes it
together?
look even worse. Worse in a good way. In a good way, though, because they lost to a team that's not really.
That's also dysfunctional. But if you're telling the story of them being best friends and them falling out, wouldn't it make more sense for them to lose to a team that's on the same page?
For sure.
And then kind of being like, well, why aren't we like that? And it's like, oh, because, infighting, losing belts.
No, you had a point there for sure. But, yeah, no, that happened. And they did more of that on SmackDown, which we'll get to in the next part. But lastly on the show, there was the main event of Seth Rollins and Murphy versus Dominic and Rey Mysterio. And we saw Retribution back for like the first time in a couple days because they weren't at Payback, they weren't at TakeOver, but they finally showed up again. And there's some rumors running rampant on the wrestling internet going on that they know who some of the people are. Some names included Mia Yim, Kaden Carter, I think, Dio Madden, Dominic Dijakovic, Chelsea Green was another one. So it might not be still official, but what do you guys think of those names if they are part of it?
It'd be an interesting group.
Yeah.
For sure. They are all good names, but I would still like to see like an established veteran
star as the leader.
But just to give it the extra oomph and credibility it needs.
Yeah.
Because their reason to be like, yeah, we're forgotten, but it's like if you get like a big name person who's not doing much, then that would really drive the point home.
Yeah, I think Aleister Black should be the leader of Retribution.
That's smart. That's very smart.
If you're going with this, I don't think they'll do it. But if you're going with the heel Aleister character, but I don't know. I'm fine with whoever they kind of put in Retribution. The biggest thing is going to be the story, the background they give them, because you just mentioned the group that calls themselves Retribution, and I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. I didn't see them at Payback. I haven't seen them. What are they? What is their end goal? What are they doing? Why do they try to throw Raw off the air, but not?
Jesse, hold that thought. Jesse, hold that thought right there. We're going to continue right after this. We're back after that short little break. Jesse just finishing up his notes on Retribution, saying you don't care anymore. It's over.
The group that calls themselves.
I apologize. You are correct.
Can't give them a real name yet.
But
you haven't heard them speak.
They're kind of losing their steam, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Well, it's like when Nexus debuted.
Yes.
The first week, and they destroyed everything. The next week, they came out and said why and what they were doing.
Yeah.
This has been going on for so long.
Almost a month, it feels.
With not anybody being uncovered, nobody doing anything. And at some point, you just lose interest. Those first 2-3 weeks, you're like, oh, wow, who's in this group? Who's in this group? But at this point, it's just they don't know who's in this group.
No, they don't know who's in this group, so why should we know? Whatever.
Why should we care?
Why should we? Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Wednesday nights. We're going to go just with NXT this week. We're not sure if we're going to continue doing AEW stuff or not because it's and not a lot of us watch it all together. So we'll if there's something groundbreaking or stuff, we'll break down something in AEW, but there wasn't too much this week, just the Moxley stuff that we already covered. So let's stick with NXT, and it starts off with a new commentary team. Vic Joseph, along with the returning, speaking of Nexus, Wade Barrett, and he was phenomenal on commentary all night. It was a really good addition to the team, and he's coming back for next week's NXT Super Tuesday. So, hey, I'm with it. I'm with having Barrett back, and if this leads to an in-ring match in NXT, fine. If not, fine. If he just wants to be a commentator, I'm all for it. I'm all for this, 100%.
Yeah, he's a good commentator. They've tried a lot of things with the NXT commentary team.
Yeah.
I can't believe Beth's hasn't been, kicked off somehow.
Beth would be good as a backstage interviewer, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think Beth is a very good color commentator, and they've let her do color commentary.
But
for a really long time.
The thing is, though, can you really fire Beth Phoenix from being?
You don't need to fire her.
Just move her. Just put her. Like, there's an opening now on, the kickoff show panel. Put her over there.
That's where she would be much better in that kind of
I think she would be too. Yeah. Now she's not. She improved a lot, but still not.
And it's bad, especially when every single takeover, every single woman's match, they're like, Beth, as a former woman's champion, blah 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 blah, and it's like, okay. For anybody that watched Beth Phoenix growing up, Beth was just bigger and stronger and just better than all the other women.
Way ahead of her time.
That doesn't correspond to it's not like on commentary when you're like Kevin Owens as a wrestler, how does this? Beth was bigger than everybody. She was stronger. Like, if you're saying as a champion, how should Io Shirai be doing this or that? They're two entirely different wrestlers.
Women, completely different. Yeah.
So
it
doesn't. Agree. They always cop out to that too, all the time.
Too much.
Beth, as a woman's wrestler, how is this in women's wrestling? It's not good.
Enough's enough with that, but.
But I like the new commentary team.
Oh, me too.
I think
Vic
Joseph was too good to not be doing play-by-play consistently in the company.
We really saw him shine for the very first time at TakeOver last weekend, and he did really well there. And having Barrett alongside with him is awesome. I'm a big fan of this team. Okay, let's continue in the show. Karrion Kross comes out with Scarlett. Cuts a great promo in the ring saying how he got to this title, all this, all that, but he has a separated shoulder and is being forced to relinquish the title, puts the title down, puts the little sand clock. What's the right word for that? I don't know.
It's like
God.
I know. It just slipped my mind too. I had it in my head
Hourglass.
Too. Hourglass. Very good.
Yeah.
Had the little hourglass.
Scarlett flips the hourglass.
Boom. Time's ticking before he comes back. There you go.
In my short-lived athletics career, I separated a shoulder, but I did it where it was just here. It's just like a sprain essentially of the AC joint. Yeah. But there are worse parts of a separated shoulder where you can completely tear the.
There's 4 phases, and in the fourth phase, it's an 8-month. The first phase is 2 weeks, and then the fourth phase is 9 months.
I guess he has one either a grade 3 or 4 where he has to get it surgically repaired.
Like Finn Balor, this is exactly.
Yeah, because for mine it was literally just sprained, and my doctor's like, "All right, just take some Advil and go play, and it'll go away." So it's great, thanks.
Thanks, doc.
So I guess this one is obviously severe enough that they can't just kind of keep him off TV with the belt, filming vignettes, and he'll be able to come back in a month or so. Obviously, it's much more severe than that, and it sucks that it's literally he won it and has to drop the belt. But did you see the eerie thing where it was the same date that Finn dropped the Universal title on Raw than when he dropped it now to a similar injury?
That's crazy.
That is crazy. But for every bad thing, there is a good thing to accompany it. And this leads to NXT Super Tuesday. Got booted off because of the NHL playoffs, but whatever. We have a fatal
I didn't know the NHL playoffs were on USA.
Neither did I. Then I saw a commercial.
So wait, is this going to be on the network?
No,
it's going to be on USA on Tuesday night.
On Tuesday night. Heard. I thought you meant on Tuesday night there's hockey. So they were booting it off.
Oh, no.
And I was like, wait a minute, is this going to be on the network?
That was a little confusing the way I said that. The NHL playoffs are on Wednesday night in the usual time slot of NXT. So they're getting booted to Tuesday. And we have
the NHL playoffs are doing so bad that they're on USA Network.
Yeah, that shows a lot, right? They're not on a major network like NBC, ABC, TNT,
so I thought they were normally just on NBC Sports, and that was it.
Me too.
I didn't know they venture out to the USA Network.
That's weird, but but we're getting a fatal 4-way match. 4 former NXT champions: Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, and Adam Cole, fighting for the vacant NXT title in a 60-man Iron Man match.
60-minute.
60. Did I say 60 man?
You said 60-man Iron Man match.
Oh no, that would be A lot.
Have we ever seen a multi-man Iron Man match?
I have not.
I have not either. I
So
was
this is
thinking
the
about
first
that
of
too.
even like a triple threat or higher.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
say in at least WWE. I can't remember.
Is this the first Iron Man match since the Sasha and Bailey Iron Woman
In
match?
NXT for sure.
In NXT, yeah.
Main
Definitely.
roster, there might have been one in between on the main roster.
And
Oh yeah,
I
I just watched it last night. It was the Bar versus the Hardys at
That was an
Great
Iron
Balls
Man
of
match?
Fire. Great Balls of Fire. Yeah, it was an Iron Man match. 30-minute
wow.
Iron Man match. And it was horrible.
we haven't seen an hour though in a long time.
I thought Gargano Cole were eventually gonna do one, but they didn't.
Yeah. No, I think this is the first Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match ever in the company, which is cool, which is great. And
and that's good for them too, because since it will be an hour, it's definitely there's enough people there that you can do certain things, take someone out of the match for a few minutes, let them catch their breath. Like the pacing, it will be good.
It's huge. It
will be a good match.
Very exciting. Just tell me who's winning right now. Both of you. I want your predictions.
After what I seen on the show, it's Ciampa.
I think it's going to be Ciampa.
I'll go different. I want to say Ciampa, but I'm going Finn.
I originally thought it was going to be Balor.
See, I think it's going to be Ciampa to win it, but I want Balor to win it.
Yeah, I want Balor to win it as well, but no, Ciampa's the only heel in that can be built in the way that Kross was. I think they had a plan for Kross, and I think if you give it to Ciampa, you can pretty much still
similar
do
stories.
the same thing.
Yeah. So that's smart.
Yeah.
They can't give it to Cole though. I don't.
Anyone but Cole. Cole. I love Cole.
Well, I think anybody but Cole and Gargano.
Gargano has a new mantra to him, so I wouldn't mind seeing him the title.
But see that thing with Gargano, the new thing, I think that's better. And Gargano itself is better when he's chasing the belt. I think he's better.
Okay.
He's better in the chase than being the champion. Like, I think Cole is a really good champion.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want to see him chase after the belt again.
I can agree with that. But speaking of Ciampa, he was back. He made his return in a match against Jake Atlas. Just beat the hell out of Jake Atlas. And it looks like we have the vicious psycho killer Tommaso Ciampa heel back in NXT, which thank God he's back. Like, I get people wanted to cheer for him because of his injuries and all of that. I get that. But
his best work is as
a heel,
an absolute maniac who will just take out anybody at any cost.
And he had the psycho killer mask coming out too. He looked badass as anything.
And he never turned face. It was like his injuries
made him face.
Made him a face.
Yeah,
like you can't boo him after he tore his ACL and then his neck.
And they put out that 4-part documentary about him and his daughter.
Yep.
Like, we can't boo him.
You couldn't boo that. You could not boo that.
No, but I'm very happy to see him back. Someone who I'm not happy to see back is Austin Theory. Yikes. Another one in the Velveteen Dream situation who had all these allegations against him, just brought back out of nowhere. But I guess
they're not going to talk about it.
If there's nothing found, I guess it's fine. But they did suspend both of them, obviously.
I guess they're running with innocent until proven guilty.
Which is the way to do it.
At least make a statement.
Or keep them off TV till something.
They didn't say
they kept them both off for a long time, but
they didn't say they suspended him. They didn't acknowledge the reports. They didn't anything.
Dream was really off TV from Great American Bash, which was what, June?
Or Takeover in Your House, I thought was the last time we seen.
When was their match? Was it Bash or they're in your house?
In your house.
In your
It
house.
was in your house?
It was terrible.
So that was May till August, which is
August.
3
so
months.
He was suspended, but they did, like Jesse said, they didn't say anything. They should have put out a statement.
Was he suspended with pay? Because that's not really a suspension.
That's just vacation.
Exactly. So, no, I think they've gone about this entirely wrong. AEW, when the Sammy Guevara stuff came out, acknowledged it, suspended him, put out a whole press release. WWE just wants to push this under the carpet and not acknowledge it and just hope that nobody's going to talk about it.
Granted, Guevara came back too quick. They
but
still
I agree.
did something. They still did
but
something.
They made an attempt.
Yeah.
And they said his suspended pay was going to like a
women's shelter.
A charity, a women's shelter, yeah.
They did nothing,
Like,
WWE. They did nothing.
WWE has done absolutely nothing. They are literally trying to like cover it up and just hope that you don't think about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's that. Let's get to the last two things in NXT. Well, last one, actually. Because, Escobar retained his Cruiserweight title against Swerve. That was cool. It was fine. He cheated. He had like a metal plate and a mask, it looked like, or something. So that was cool. Escobar's great. Legado del Fantasma is great as a stable. But for the first time in WWE, Tyler Breeze and Fandango are holding gold. And I'm very happy for them. They've got
deserved.
Much deserved is right. They got the short end of the stick almost both of their whole careers. Yes, they both started hot in their careers. Fandango was the hottest thing around WrestleMania 29. Breeze was the hot thing in NXT like 5 years ago, but then they both cooled down, did the Fashion Files, did all that. That Fashion Files was great.
Should have won the tag titles then.
Should have won the SmackDown titles, 100% true, but they finally won. And like Justin and you, Jesse, just said, very well deserved.
And it's almost like because they've been the good soldier for the company. Like they've been around, they've done, comedy roles, they've done, getting squashed. Like WWE, if you're with the company long enough and you kind of just fall in line and do what you're told, they'll reward you and give you a title here and there. Very true.
Look at the B team. Look at Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. They both were rewarded with tag titles like a couple of years ago with all that, just being in the company and getting the short end of the stick. But
now, I don't want to discredit them, say like this is just them getting like a sympathy run. Like they've deserved it.
They do. Imperium wasn't doing anything with the titles anyways. They were a horrible.
Imperium doesn't know what to do without Walter.
Exactly.
And Wolf's not there either.
Right? Wolf's he's probably stuck overseas too. Then.
I think too. Yeah, it's just
Marcel and Fabian.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm happy for them. That closes out NXT. Let's get into last night or 2 nights ago, Friday Night SmackDown. I really, really like the way they did this contract signing. It doesn't always have to be in the ring with the moderator. One guy comes out, you flip the table, you beat the crap out of each other. You don't have to do that all the time. And Adam Pearce as an on-air personality was fantastic. Just going from superstar to superstar, from Funhouse to Braun to Roman's locker room, just very, very good all around. Very good.
They've kind of stopped with like the on-screen GM, commissioner, authority roles.
Yes.
But if they were to ever bring it back, I'd want Adam Pearce to be in consideration for one of them because he is very good on camera. I think he's normally just like a producer or something.
Literally,
like
producer. And he's a great actor. He's a great actor.
Remember when they did it was the IC or USA title when they had the battle royale because someone dropped out and they awarded Bryan and AJ Styles like their bye to like the finals.
Yes, a couple months ago.
And Daniel Bryan's like, I want to earn it, and Styles like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like when Pierce was like on the soapbox, kind of like commanding people what to do. He had a very strong presence with everybody.
Yeah, even last week with like the Fiend thing and the ambulance and all that, like he's been really, really good.
GMs and authority figures are good when they're done right. Look at Regal in NXT. He's been great for them for years.
One GM the whole time.
Yeah, One GM the whole time.
Even the guy in the UK, the old dude in the UK, he's cool too.
Yeah.
He's cool too. And like
GMs are good. It's just don't do a Kurt Angle. Like don't do oh my God, those trucks are worth $1 million.
And
those production trucks are worth $1 million.
And I wonder if they're slowly maybe grooming Pierce for that if they ever do bring it back.
Very possibly.
Because he's been on screen a lot more recently.
Well, and they still have Paige doing nothing. Yeah. And Paige was a really good GM for SmackDown too.
Yeah, they have Paige with SmackDown doing well, and then they have Pat Buck, who's been like in the fold on Raw really well with the whole Nia Jax situation. So if they like get these like backstage guys, not like these top talent legends and all that to be general managers, I'm cool with somebody like that being the general manager, like Pat Buck or Pierce. Like
it almost makes it more believable and blurs the line to make it almost like it's a legitimate sport then.
Yeah. It's like a real like commissioner or real like something else. I agree with that 100%. But that was cool, the whole thing with that. But Pierce went from the Funhouse to Braun on the entrance ramp, then to Roman's locker room. We're getting this out of the way right here, right now. Goes into Roman's locker room. Roman says he didn't sign it. Let that be known. Roman did not sign the contract yet because he said he wanted a couple things changed in it. But he said, when I do win the Universal title, it's not going to be a prediction. it's a spoiler. Camera pans to the right, see Mr. Paul Heyman there, and he says, "Believe that." Fade to black, end of SmackDown. Holy crap. Woo!
This has been hinted at for like years that they were going to get together.
Yeah, since Mania 34, around that time.
And it's perfect. Because if you really want, if you want to turn Roman heel and really piss the fans off, put him with Paul Heyman.
Well, that's the thing. This is going to make, but it's kind of genius by WWE though, because he's not going to get booed now. He's going to get cheered.
And then that's he eventually leaves Heyman and does that, biggest babyface in the company.
Because people, if Roman just came back and won, they were going to boo him. Yeah. But now if he comes back with Heyman and he comes back as a heel, you're literally giving them what they want. They can't boo him.
No, they can't.
So I still don't know if he's heel. I think he's still badass babyface.
I would on Sunday at SummerSlam, he was badass babyface. Friday Night SmackDown, he's with Heyman, he's heel in my opinion.
I think he's heel in that same way CM Punk was heel when he was with Heyman. Okay. He was heel, but people really liked him.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the thing with Roman. People are going to really like this.
And a way to gauge if they really want to go full heel on Roman or kind of keep him badass, good guy type of thing. Yeah. If Heyman gets involved and wins Roman the title, but like kind of quasi cheats a little bit, it depends on how Roman reacts. If he either condones it or is pissed about Heyman getting involed. If he accepts it, but that's what I'm saying though. If he's fine with winning any means necessary, he's going heel then. If Heyman gets involved and wins the title and he's upset by that, then they're trying to still avoid him being a full heel.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I thought of too as soon as they put them together. Is Heyman hasn't worked with a faction in a while. The Usos are doing nothing.
I thought you were going to say Retribution.
No.
Spicy.
The Usos are doing nothing. Put Roman back with the Usos. And then if you have Roman with the Usos, then you tell the story of why Fiend and Braun have to team up. Because Roman is too powerful with his family.
I like that a lot because heel Usos are so good too.
Heel Usos are so good.
Granted, they're fine as like babyface, like anti-hero.
They're badass babyface.
Yeah, they're fine like that as long as they don't do the Samoan chants and all that stuff.
That's the thing. I don't think it would be. It'd be like I would have it do like corporate heel, like Paul Heyman is in charge of them.
All of them walking out in suits. Ooh.
And then like they win the tag belts. Roman has the championship, and then you maybe pull somebody else in and have them win the
Tamina.
Yes, Tamina.
There you go.
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm so down for that.
I think Roman in a faction with Paul Heyman pulling the strings, but like Roman the whole time thinking that he's the leader. Genius. Is the best thing. And then eventually you bring back Brock and you have that big blow off of who is Heyman going to support.
I like that. I really like that a lot.
Hanging in a shark cage then above the ring when it gets Heyman.
Hanging in a shark cage. There's so many routes they can go with this Roman Heyman thing. And I'm just hoping that Heyman and him are going to be working so closely together that Heyman's going to throw ideas at him, and he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to tell Vince we're doing that.
Yeah.
Because Vince will listen to Roman.
Oh, for sure.
No matter what. So if Paul's like telling him, hey, we should do this, we should do this. Yeah. Because, don't get me wrong, I don't think Paul Heyman's that god that some people do. Paul Heyman has bad ideas, too. Paul Heyman has lots of bad ideas. For sure. But when he's in a story, especially a story like this,
he's invested. He cares.
He knows. He gets it.
Yeah,
he does.
Two last things on this whole Roman Reigns stuff. The writing has been really good for SmackDown. like
Yes.
the last couple of weeks and so, like the endings have all been like cliffhangers. It feels like how Attitude Era Wrestling used to be, ending on cliffhangers and all that stuff. So props to that. And what does this mean for AJ Styles? Because we know the reason why AJ Styles left Raw was because Heyman was there, and he did not like Heyman. Now they're both on the same brand. What does this mean
maybe
for AJ?
because Heyman, he has no creative control over SmackDown, right?
Yes.
But he doesn't like the guy in general.
Yeah.
So I think
Ship him to NXT.
the reason
Okay.
they said AJ didn't like Heyman, I read a lot, was Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows got fired, and Heyman didn't tell him ahead of time, and allegedly told him that like they were safe, and then they weren't.
They weren't.
Which maybe Heyman was given bad information because everybody always said Heyman was a stand-up guy and wouldn't lie about that stuff.
Could be.
But they had tension. AJ was mad when they got fired. He was mad at the company when they got fired.
Yeah.
So he moved, but I always think Heyman was more of a scapegoat for the company for AJ than anything. Because Heyman doesn't sign the checks. Heyman didn't decide who was fired.
No, for sure not.
That was Vince.
He was just a carrier man, basically.
Exactly. Don't shoot the messenger.
Got you. Last just little thing, SmackDown, before we get into our Payback predictions. Sami Zayn returned. Good to see him back. Still claiming he's the IC champion, which technically he shouldn't be because he hasn't defended it in 30 days. But that's the Brock Lesnar.
Didn't they even?
Brock never defended it within 30 days.
Well, didn't they openly say like the title was vacant on like the WWE Twitter? Like back when they.
Oh yeah.
So
that's the gimmick he's going with right now.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's happy to see him back. Good for that. And just more Bayley and Sasha feud brewing a little bit. Bayley's like, well, you know how you can't defend that title and all that. It was funny. They're to lose the titles, but we'll get to that in Payback right now.
Well, did you Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross?
I did not put that in the rundown. But yeah, no, it's starting to look like Alexa's going a little crazy.
Alexa, stop.
Oh, not that Alexa, but yeah, it looks like Alexa Bliss is getting a little crazy here and there. She's rocking the pigtails again. She's
going back to what she was. Like everybody does. I think that's a really good story. Good.
Once the
Fiend gets you, you
go back.
Revert.
You go back. Yeah. So that's cool. That's really cool. Good job bringing that up. I didn't even put that in.
I tried.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's get to some predictions really quickly before we end this episode. Payback happening tonight because it's getting uploading today. Same thing.
Going up Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. All right. We have the probably main event of the show. It looks like it. The Fiend Bray Wyatt defending his Universal title against Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
I think it's got to go to Roman.
1 for Roman. Jesse.
Roman pins Braun.
2 for Roman. Me, 3 for Roman. I think Roman wins too. It's the smart move. Bray does not need the title. As long as Bray doesn't get pinned, 100% okay with Roman wins.
They'll protect the Fiend as much as possible, I think.
And Braun can obviously eat a pin. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
Braun's been fed to Brock Lesnar so many times.
Speaking of new gear, Braun was wearing like this short sleeve compression shirt, and it looked horrible.
He looked like a soldier almost.
I don't know what they're doing with Braun.
He looked like a bigger Matt Hardy because Matt Hardy wears that. Matt Hardy wears that.
It just wasn't a turtleneck.
Oh my god!
Well, it's just like Braun's in such good shape.
Yeah, have him be shirtless.
Like have him be shirtless. There's like if anybody thinks like Braun is not in like good shape, I don't know what is wrong with
I agree with you on that.
Braun's one thing that's stood is his physique. Like he's massive.
He's the ideal Vince McMahon guy.
Literally
big and ripped.
Beef.
Yeah.
You got the beef. All right, let's continue. I've been talking a lot about Sasha and Bayley this whole show, but they're defending their women's tag team titles against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I'll start this one off. I'm going to go Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Taking a little.
Yeah, I think they definitely dropped the belts just to drive the wedge even more between them both.
Yep.
Like
that's what tag team wrestling is.
They started the snowball
singles storylines.
They've started they've started breaking them up, so there's no way to stop that snowball anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think Sasha taps out again. But to Shayna.
Yeah.
I think Sasha taps again.
It's sad that Shayna's first title is going to be a tag team championship and
Who are you
with
shushing,
Nia
Chris?
Jax.
My Alexa. I didn't say Alexa.
That's not how you get it to stop. You got to say stop.
Alexa, stop.
Oh
yeah, the blue light went away.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Jackson Baszler. Who knows how long they hold it? Who cares? This is all just about the Bayley Sasha.
So we all agree so far, and now
I'd be happy to be wrong.
I'd be happy.
Yeah, I'd be fine.
I'd be happy if they like won it again and are like, okay, let's get our mojo back. Mojo Rawley, he sucks. Let's continue. A bunch of now one-on-one matches scheduled for the night. There probably might be a couple more that gets announced either today or tomorrow or like on the kickoff show, but this is what's announced as of 5:03 p.m. Saturday, August 29th, 2020. Okay. Keith Lee versus Randy Orton, one-on-one match. One of you guys go first. I know who I have in my head, but who do you guys think?
Jesse, you go.
I'm going no contest. DQ.
Okay.
Drew McIntyre gets involved, like Claymore's Randy in the face. Keith gets mad because he's like, yo, I was about to win. What are you doing? Like, hey, we're friends. I don't need you to fight my battle. Like, Keith and Drew are like, I don't need you to fight my battles for me. I don't want you interfering in my matches.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I'm going no contest.
I think Drew distracts Orton, but, like, Keith Lee picks up the pin.
I'm going Orton because we really don't see NXT guys win their first big match, or really anybody their first big match.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, on the main
Kevin
card.
Owens, but whatever.
Well, yes, but in general though, like
Meet
on
the
a
best in the
pay-per-view,
world.
They usually don't get their first win on their
You're
first match.
Right. You're 100%
So,
right.
I'm going with Orton on this one.
It's a toss-up, honestly. It's a toss-up, too. A lot of these are kind of toss-ups, too. Apollo Crews defending his United States Championship against Bobby Lashley. I'll just go first for this one. I'm going to say Bobby Lashley wins the title. This starts the gold rush kind of the Hurt Business. Give me Lashley. Crews is okay with the title, but give me Lashley. I'm all for it.
I don't think Crews escapes again. And like, if Lashley gets the title, please just end this feud that's just going on way too long at this point between MVP and company versus Apollo Crews. So just give it to Bobby Lashley, and can we just move on?
If Lashley wins, though, Apollo Crews is going to get another match for it.
And just squash him and end it.
So,
yeah,
I'm going to go Crews. I don't think they care that much about the Hurt Business as much as you guys think.
Yeah,
I don't think they give them the gold rush. I don't think they do. I think they're a pretty like meh faction.
Yeah,
So,
I just realized I'm picking a lot of titles to change too. Like that's not going to happen.
I think Crews is going to retain.
Okay, it's a lot of these are toss-ups too. For being honest, like these last two ones are like
I could not care less
for
about
nothing.
Crews.
But it is a pay-per-view debut for Matt Riddle, a main roster pay-per-view debut. Put it that way. Going against King Corbin, I'm going Matt Riddle. I don't know.
Riddle.
Whatever.
Yeah, Riddle. I don't care for Corbin. I don't think they care for him either. So just give it to Riddle.
They like acted like we were gonna get Riddle AJ Styles, and then that's not what we got.
Then they just turned that off and
they
changed
just
the
gave
channel.
us Corbin instead.
Yeah.
So,
Last, and I'm gonna say match of the night right here. Bold prediction: match of the night. Big E versus Sheamus. Match of the night, because we know
you say that until they put it on the kickoff.
It probably will be.
It'll be a kickoff,
but it's still good. It'll be the best match on the kickoff.
It'll be the kickoff because they don't have Kevin Owens scheduled to put him on the kickoff.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I didn't put that match on here.
There's a Kevin Owens match.
Yeah, Owens and Alistair. We'll get to that.
Owens and Alistair, which Alistair's gonna.
Alistair's gonna win. We'll say that.
Never mind. That'll be the kickoff then.
Yeah. Well, they can have more than one kickoff match.
Both of them. There you go. We all going Alistair for Alistair and Owens.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think we should all go Big E for Big E.
And we all go Big E.
I think so. Yeah.
I think because we saw what Sheamus could do against Jeff Hardy. Sheamus has been really good lately, and Big E is obviously really good too. I think this could be, if it's on the main card, it could be one of the matches of the night.
I think this is a good match to propel Big E's single run.
Yeah,
because Sheamus has been good.
Yeah.
So if you have Big E beat Sheamus, I think that jump starts.
Yeah.
And that's good.
You think they announce an IC title match between Hardy and Styles for a rematch?
Might get a triple threat. another triple threat: Sami Zayn, Hardy, and Styles. I think that's possible.
That would be match of the night, I think.
If that was on the card, yes, for sure.
But we probably won't get it.
No,
they'll probably put it on like next week's SmackDown.
Yeah, probably.
They love putting the IC title on.
See, I'm fine. I'm fine with getting a title match here and there on free TV.
Me too. Also, but maybe put it on a pay-per-view every once in a while.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen the IC belt in a pay-per-view match that I cared about.
That's been their new TV belt.
Yeah. Well, and like the Daniel Bryan AJ Styles Intercontinental match was so good, and it was like, why did you do that on SmackDown? There was a pay-per-view that weekend.
Yeah, literally.
Like the next weekend.
Yeah, whenever they've had the IC title, it's always been on like the go-home show for a pay-per-view.
Exactly.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
And the matches are always pretty good.
Yeah, usually always good, especially.
They're better than the United States matches. Put the United States matches on Monday nights.
Amen.
You have 3 hours to fill.
Amen. I agree with that one. All right. That does it for this episode of the Department Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know your favorite part of the podcast by leaving a comment on this video. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Department_pod. I forgot our at for a second. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next episode.